Hello, Hunter. Hello to the listeners. Hello to everyone who decided to join us for this impactful series. And you are in for a treat. And I use the pronouns she, her, and hers.
Awesome. So, Dr. White, I mentioned a little bit about your bio there. Is there anything else you want to share with us about where you come from and your journey before we jump in?
I am a millennial. I am from the South Side of Chicago. I am a Game of Thrones, House of Dragons fanatic. And
Yes.
uh, I am currently going to be training for a half marathon, and then I'm going to work my way up to a full marathon. There you go.
Oh, nice. Well, that's the inspiration I need for the day. So
Okay.
cool. Wow. 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 I want to do I can't really swim, but I want to do an Ironman, like a half
I know.
Ironman.
Me
But
too. One day. Me too.
kind
Let
of
me
need
get
to
the.
learn how to swim first.
Yes, yes,
But, good to have goals, right?
yes, definitely.
So let's jump in. So you've worked on a wide range, worked with
Mhm.
a wide range of age groups throughout your career. What's been one surprising way you've seen different generations connect and collaborate effectively in the workplace?
Definitely. So let's do some stage setting first,
Yeah,
because
let's
we
get
throw
into
these
it.
numbers around: baby boomers, Gen X, millennial, Gen Z, and then I'm also going to introduce Gen Alpha into the conversation. So before I do anything, let's do some staging. So baby boomers around 1946 to 64. Then we have Gen X, which is around 64 to 80. And then the millennials. The millennials are me. We're 80s babies up until the 2000. So I graduated high school in 2000. And then we have the Gen Zs that you mentioned in your intro, right? They are 2001 all the way up until COVID. Yeah, some of them were born during COVID. And then we have Gen Alpha.
Mm.
And got some stuff for Gen Alpha for you all that are listening and want to be proactive for the next generation. So, working with a wide range of age groups throughout my career, being a strategist, being a DEI analyst, being a professor, an author, I've had the privilege of interacting with everybody, CEOs who might be baby boomers. Then we have someone in talent acquisition who is a millennial like me. And how do they effectively contribute and connect and collaborate in a workplace?
Mm.
This is the moving target, people. It's not going anywhere. And so I've seen organizations start on the macro level, which is okay, we're going to rethink how we hire. We are going to post our job description on TikTok. We're going to use Power to Fly. We're going to use technology. And we're also going to do maybe some things that we've done before, going to career fairs, knocking on doors, picking up the phone call and say, hey, do you know somebody who might be good to work here? Then I've seen workplaces do something more formal, like employee resource groups. To those of you who don't know about that, ERGs, sometimes they're called BRGs. And I've seen companies call them CRGs, community resource groups. And those have been so successful, Hunter. We have someone who is just out of college being mentored by someone on the C-suite. And so that has actually helped a lot of workplaces with that. Speaking of workplaces, we also want to know that we are more than just where we work. We have to, as in Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is a holistic leader, right? Talks about our communities that we live, work, and play. And so I've seen organizations reach out for community outreach. There's a company called the Listening Project, where
Mm.
they get people to listen to each other, Republicans and Democrats, um, Christians, atheists, um, young, old, people from different geographic generations. And so it has just been surprising and just eye-opening to continue the conversation of multi-generational workplaces and communities.
Yeah, there's so many resources in there, and I love that all of the points you're speaking to there. So you were talking about there's the different generational benchmarks of these different time
Mhm.
periods kind of set us up there. So let's focus on with millennials and Gen
Mm.
Z. I'm
Yes.
also a millennial. We're very close in age there. I graduated high school around the same time. So I'm just dating myself a little bit here, but with millennials and Gen Z, we grew up in the digital age. We
Mhm.
watched the transformation into the digital age. I was watching
Correct.
cassette tapes and using the internet, right? Or listening
Correct.
to tapes, right? So we have both. But with Gen Z growing up only in the digital age, what are these different relationships with technology, and how can we bridge the tech gap and encourage mutual learning with maybe other generations that haven't had it as much, or the newer generations that are only it?
Okay. This is my jam. I love it. I have a 19-year-old who doesn't like to call, but she will text me and FaceTime me. Okay. I have nieces and nephews that will FaceTime me, that will send me TikToks. But when I decide to pick up the phone call, they're like, TT, why are you calling me? So it technology is the conversation tool, and that is not going away, that we can use to not widen the gap, but
Mm.
bring the gap in, to bridge it in. It's that mutual learning. So I do three things: the what, the why, and the how. When I am speaking to people who are like, I just don't get this TikTok, I just don't, or I'm speaking to C-suite, or I'm speaking to people who need to know how to upload something into Notion, um, or utilize Clubhouse, or why did Twitter change from X? All change from Twitter to X. All of these are conversations about technology that we can use to bridge the gap.
Mm.
One of the things that I have seen that to bridge the gap is, of course, reverse mentoring. You've done it. I get there's people on the call that's listening. They've done it. You might not have known you've done it, but you've
Mm.
done it. It's when you ask, now, tell me, tell me about this Clubhouse. Tell me about how can I do a TikTok? Now, does Snapchat really delete? All of these are reverse mentoring questions,
Mm.
topics, prompts. And so when you do that, when you ask questions and get to know that, and you create a brave space, I don't like to say safe space, when you create a brave space, it
Mm.
benefits everybody.
Mm.
It benefits everybody. With the why and the how and the what. Okay, why don't we technically use rotary phones anymore? Why don't people have home phones? Why has the sale of actual home phones declined over 70% in the last 5 years? Great prompting questions. Because then I'll have people talk about, well, I still have a home phone. Why do you have a home phone? Well, in case something happens or my cell phone goes out. All of these help mutual learning, letting people to think outside of what they've always known. And so this reverse mentoring, um, prompts and questions and spaces allows people to bridge that tech gap.
I love that. I love brave space.
Yeah. Yeah. We use it in a lot of our coaching, because a safe space gives you the inclination that you can just say anything and do anything, and no one will correct you. A brave space allows you to you we want you to be your authentic self, but in this brave space, we will ask power questions. We will want to unpack some things, and we will want to give you some intentional tools and resources. So there's research on Brave and space, Safe Space. I can get that to you that maybe we can share out, but I love the concept of Brave Spaces.
Yeah, because accountability is the place.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, the power questions, the power tools, like that's how we grow. And like being brave also involves, at least in my experience, failing.
Oh yeah, there you go. I, I have a thing, Hunter. I believe in being brave and scared at the same time. Let's roll.
Yeah, buckle up. Let's go for a ride. I love it. I love it. So, what are some common misconceptions that you've noticed that people are having about different generations?
Oh man. So I have a presentation in September and I do a lot of data. I love numbers, especially data.
Mm,
And I am going into this organization and I'm going to be talking about this. And I'm working on my pre-survey and I have some pre-survey. As a consultant, I like to gauge who am I going to be talking to? And the misconceptions across generations. Wow.
mm,
Wow, wow, wow. Let me give you some of them. Let me give you some of them. Millennials, we are entitled. Everyone gets a trophy. We are obsessed with tech. Then we hear some misconceptions about baby boomers. Oh, they've been at their job for years. They don't want to change. They're not tech savvy. Then we've got the Gen Zs. They have survived school shooting. They have been introduced to Black Lives Matter. Gen Zs are socially conscious. They are activist oriented.
mm,
You hear some of the common misconceptions about people and their generation.
mm,
Just want you to sit with that. Now, if you have these common misconceptions, how does that impact your hiring, your advancing, who you're going to mentor, who you're going to give access to? How are you going to look at someone's resume who might be nothing but tech? All of these show how some of our um, misconceptions and biases show up. So what can we do about it, Hunter? We can be aware.
mm.
We can be aware. So that's why I love anonymous surveys when it comes to generations, right? I want you to, I'm going to put a mirror to what collectively you all have said about people and their age.
Mm,
And so we know that generations shape unique experiences, cultural backgrounds, all of those are those intersectionalities. Yes, intersectionality people that impact someone's generation and how they view the world. And so of course, there's research on Gen Zs and how school shootings have impacted their workplace. I mean, all
mm,
of this is things that you have to think about if you're looking for a job, if you are redesigning a workplace. We're actually going to talk about that in a moment. Actually, the brick and mortar and how you go into the office has to do with generational. So, yes, all of that, those misconceptions can are they're oversimplified, but they can have a big impact on how we move through the workplaces.
yeah. So
Mhm.
I'm familiar with pretty much all those examples. I've heard
Mhm.
them all, right? And I've maybe even said some of them myself, maybe about myself, maybe about other generations, you know. And I'm curious, are they misconceptions or are they generalizations, right? Because it's like
Mhm.
you said that there's we're informed, right, by cultural moments, these
Yes.
benchmarks, but also to say that like every boomer is bad with tech is obviously wildly untrue.
My business partner is 62. She knows more about tech than I do. She messages me as soon as Apple sends an update. She messages me and say, "Here, this is what this the update, and let me show you."
Yeah.
And so that is a generalization. It is not necessarily true.
Yeah.
I have rested on my laurels with tech because, oh, I grew up with it. I'm good. But because I think because of her age, she's not doing that. She's
Mm,
going, I'm being brave and scared. I'm going to learn about this Clubhouse, this Notion, this new download, this TikTok. She has been intentional. And so when I tell people these misconceptions or these, I said, it's individualized. It is
mm-hmm.
so individualized. And to take that into consideration before you just assume about a particular person's age or generation.
I love that you've brought up Notion a couple of times because Dr. White, I have avoided Notion like the plague for years.
Come on,
And
Hunter.
now, no, I'm in now. I'm in now. But I kid you not, my own biases, when I open it up, I was like, this is such a millennial looking app, was my first feeling. And now I get it and I'm
Yes,
in.
come
Change my
on.
flow. It's the best. But it took my own, like maybe it was a little
Yes,
millennial self-loathing that was
yes.
inside for me to get over it and realize, oh, this is actually a very powerful tool.
It is. It is. And I am learning and I am passing the message. And that's what we're going to talk about. Passing the message, you all. It is everything. If you've been on here since 10 my time to on now, it is incumbent upon everybody here that is listening that this career connection summit is about passing the message and
Mm-hmm.
passing the message for people about generations and personal branding
Mm-hmm.
and networking. So that is my charge to you, is to pass the message.
Yes, 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 yes. So we're unpacking these generalizations,
Okay.
we're looking at these strengths that we all have and these weaknesses, like I know plenty of millennials that are like, tech's not really my thing, right? So
Right.
it's complicated, it's complex, right? It's not just black or white. So what are these unique strengths that each generation brings to the table? How can organizations harness these strengths to build the most dynamic and innovative teams?
So I'm going to go through, I love storytelling, and then I'm going to give you an example. So I'm on a board, and it's a board for a nonprofit. And this board is the epitome of multi-gen, right? We have the
Mhm.
the CEO and founder who loves what he created, right? Then we have people who are younger than him that are on the board that have all of these ideas and where we need to go. And then you have to think about that CEO and that founder, that's their baby. That
Right.
business is that baby. And
Yeah.
so for many baby boomers, they don't want to let go because they have worked hard for something.
Mm.
Many strengths of baby boomers and traditionalists, which are a little older than baby boomers, so they've got a strong work that they've had to. They've had to build things from the ground up. They have
Mhm.
great leadership skills. And this is what I tell people in my training. Baby boomers, Gen X, they have institutional knowledge that you just don't have.
Mhm.
And you've got to respect that. So those are the strengths. And then you get the millennials and the Gen Zs. What strengths do they have? Creativity, lights, camera, action. They're socially conscious that maybe let's change the wording on that. It might not be inclusive.
Mm.
Maybe let's talk about how we can work smarter and not harder while using a productivity tool such as Notion, or understanding how we can post job descriptions on TikTok. See those strengths and how they can work together? We know that Gen Z start businesses at a quicker rate than any other generation.
Huh.
I'm
Yeah.
starting a business here. I'm going to be a TikToker. I'm going to have my own t-shirt business. Oh, and on the side, on the weekend, I'm going to wash cars. All of that just looks different. The baby boomers might have did it, but they did it in a different way. See,
Mm.
these are the strengths that we've got to maximize and amplify.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah, because there's just because it's from a previous doesn't generation doesn't mean we need to scrap everything, right? We can learn so
Correct.
much from those that are willing to teach and offer up their experiences, and the younger generations, like you said, with these innovative ideas, and then we
Mhm.
meet in the middle, right? Ideally.
Yeah, definitely. Meeting in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. So if you could create a generational team building day, tell me about the fun activities that you would include to help bridge the gap, meet in the middle between the different age groups.
Oh, before I begin, has anybody seen on Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn? There's this image, and it tells you you might be old if you get 1 point. So you
Uh-huh.
might be old if you had Hotmail. You might be old if you know how to use a rotary phone. You might be old if you knew what MySpace was, or
Mhm.
Napster, or Napster.
Mhm.
And as I'm designing this generational team building day, we would definitely have an activity like that. We would definitely put up a rotary phone and see how people could use it.
Oh, that's so
We
fun.
would we would use a fax machine and ask someone to send a fax.
Yeah.
We would have someone, we need you to create a TikTok in 15 seconds. Oh, that would be generational team building. Then I would love generational Jeopardy. Oh gosh, generational Jeopardy. We could talk about from Dennis the Menace cartoons to
Yes.
what cartoons do we have now? I don't know. My
No clue.
niece is on this Roblox. I don't know what it is. I'm saying it. Fortnite. Um,
That one I've heard of, yes.
there you go. And so we would have a Jeopardy, and it could be
Yeah.
cartoons. Create a Jeopardy style game just for historical events, musics, cartoons. Of course, we would have to have a reverse mentoring aspect of that team building day, of that field day. And then we would encourage people to talk about their lived experiences.
Mm,
There's nothing more profound and impactful than hear about somebody's lived experience.
yeah.
My lived experience has been being the newest person and someone saying, calling me girl, or, you young folks in a meeting,
Mm,
or asking someone who is older, now, when are you going to retire? Ah,
mm,
it works both ways, people. Lived experiences are so impactful. And so that would definitely be a part of our day. And I love pictures. So we have to do a picture. We have to do a group picture, but whether virtually or in person. I'm a picture person. So
right,
that's,
right,
that's
right.
my day. That's my day. And I hope you all would participate. I would need your participation, Hunter.
Absolutely. One came to me while you're firing those off was quizzing, like the young people and the old people would quiz each other on the slang of their time and see if they could know what it meant.
Yes.
Especially because, like, Gen Z is like a whole nother language, it feels like, entirely. So we would probably lose the most, I imagine, but it could be a fun game.
Yes, yes, yes. And so love it, love it, love it.
Yeah. So we only have a couple of
Okay.
minutes left.
Okay.
And if you could give each generation a piece of advice,
Okay.
what would that be?
Okay. Baby boomers, be brave and scared. I'm going to do macro. Everybody be brave and scared at the same time. Baby boomers, you know your stuff.
Mm,
Focus on transferring that knowledge to someone else. Make sure that you have succession in your thoughts when you are doing something. Sharing your expertise is not a weakness, it's a superpower.
mm,
Making sure that everybody can succeed if you decide to retire, if you decide to do something else. Gen X, I want you to remember that you are still coachable. You might not be as older, Might not be a spring chicken, but you are still coachable and teachable. You
Mm.
can adapt to things. You can solve problems. You still got it. Millennials, talking to myself, we don't know everything. We have to listen to learn, listen to change, listen to empower. Seek to understand the perspectives of somebody who's been at the organization 20 years, because they've got that institutional knowledge. Be open to feedback and guidance. To my Gen Z, continue to be curious, be respectfully curious, and ask questions. Seek out mentors, and you do have a place at the table. Might be looking different, but you do. There you go.
I love that. Well, Dr. White, if I could just get your phone number real quick, I'm
Oh,
curious if
too much, Hunter. Oh,
what is
that
the
was
best way to
good.
connect with you? Is it how many times do I have to spin the thing to connect to LinkedIn?
People, please connect with me on LinkedIn, Alexandria White. You will see me in green. I love colors. Please connect with me, Alexandria White, alexandriawhite.com. And I am across social media, Alexandria White on Clubhouse, Alex Trebek. I love Alex Trebek, rest in soul, on X. And then, of course, follow me on TikTok and Snapchat. So it has been wonderful to spend time with you, Hunter. You are a light, and thank you for everyone who spent time with us. Please reach out to me. I love multi-generational workplaces and supporting those that come to work, all ages, all races, all sizes, all demographics.
Yes, yes, yes. Dr. White, this was so much fun, so impactful. I hope we get to do this again. You know I'm going
Yeah.
to be blowing you up on LinkedIn and my rotary phone. I can't wait for more. Please come back and have a great rest of your day, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye now.